Survivor China premiered on September 20th, 2007, where the 16 new castaways participated in a welcoming ceremony. Despite Jeff saying the ceremony wasn't religious, Leslie, who was literally a Christian radio host, simply couldn't bow down to someone other than Jesus Christ. The 16 players were then divided into two teams, Fei Long and John Hu. On Fei Long, Todd and Amanda quickly formed an alliance, which would end up being a pivotal duo form this season. On John Hu, Chicken felt outcasted from his younger tribe mates, but instead of doing his best to make bonds, he intentionally steered himself away from everyone.
Yeah, but what do you think?
Former WWE diva Ashley Mazzaro got sick in the first couple days of China, making her a possible target. With Ashley being sick, Chicken not taking charge, and Fei Long in general being the much stronger tribe, they would end up defeating John Hu at the first immunity challenge. John Hu had to decide between the weakling Ashley or Chicken, a man who literally outcasted himself from the entire tribe. In the end, Chicken simply didn't fit in, as he was voted out in a 5-2-1 vote, leading to, in my opinion, the funniest vote-off reaction in Survivor history.
First person voted out of Survivor China. Chicken.
Damn!
Chicken? Tribe has spoken.
I heard him.
After he was the only one to vote with Chicken at Tribal, Dave tried to take over the leadership role on John Hu, but this was immediately resented by the tribe. On Fei Long, Amanda and Todd pulled in Aaron to their alliance as they wanted him to be their shield and unofficial leader of Fei Long. At the reward challenge, the teams would not only earn fishing gear, but would also kidnap one player from the opposing tribe and would receive a clue to the idol. Quite the reward if you ask me. In a fun challenge, Fei Long would come out on top, and they decided to kidnap Jamie, and it was Jamie who would get the clue to Fei Long's idol, and it was up to her on who she would share this with. She gave it to Leslie, feeling like she was on the bottom. Leslie shared this info with Todd, believing she could trust him, but this made Leslie even more of a target for Todd, as he knew if he were to blindside her, only he would then have the info to the whereabouts of the idol. After John Hu lost her third consecutive challenge, they felt they had no choice but to keep their tribe as strong as possible, and sent home Ashley over the annoying Dave in a unanimous vote.
Ashley, the tribe has spoken.
With Ashley gone, Dave continued to try to take control of John Hu, but only made his position within the tribe worse due to his bossy behavior. On Fei Long, we got a very uncomfortable moment from John Robert as he got a little too close to the girls that night, which was then followed by this comment the next day.
$1 million is one thing, but if you can get $1 million in some ass?
No.
Come on, James. You know you like that little 70-pound blonde. You like that?
At the reward challenge, John Hu won their first challenge and chose to kidnap Leslie. Leslie repaid Jamie and gave her the clue to the idol at John Hu's camp, to which Jamie couldn't find, despite it being right out in the open. At the immunity challenge, John Hu continued their momentum as they won their first immunity, sending Fei Long to their first tribal, where it was between the weaker and outcasted Leslie and the annoying John Robert. While Courtney obviously wanted John Robert gone, Leslie continued to make herself an outcast, saying how much more cohesive John Hu was, giving Fei Long no choice but to send her home in a 6-2 vote.
Leslie, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 4 starts with Dave getting into a petty conflict with Sharia simply because she threw away shells that Dave was wanting to bring home to his mother. Fei Long rebounded at the reward challenge and chose to kidnap Dave, who would end up giving his clue to Todd, giving Todd even more knowledge of where the idol could possibly be. Fei Long would end up winning their third immunity challenge in 4 tries, sending John Hu to tribal once again. There was some thought of Sharia being the vote, due to her lack of work ethic compared to Dave. In the end though, the tribe simply couldn't handle Dave's attitude, and he was unanimously voted out.
Dave, the tribe has spoken.
Jamie and Eric discussed the idol, but they also began to flirt with each other, and spoiler alert, the two would end up being much more than just a Survivor showmance outside the game. Instead of a reward challenge, Fisherman left tree mail for both tribes, instructing them to choose the 2 strongest members from the opposing team to join their tribe. Without giving it much thought, both tribes chose those strong members, and hours later, Sharia and Frosty went from John Hu to Fei Long, while Aaron and James, arguably the 2 strongest players in the entire game, and possible frontrunners to win at that point, were in deep trouble, as they were now in the minority on John Hu. In fact, PG, realizing it would be a win-win to get rid of the 2 big threats and even the numbers come to merge, suggested to throw the next 2 immunity challenges, and at the immunity challenge, John Hu don't even hide the fact that they're throwing it.
Jamie appears to not be concerned at all. You'd never know there was anything on the line.
They have to fit on, y'all. They have to fit on like this.
PG, you good at puzzles?
I'm good at Sudoku.
Pay attention.
This obviously led to a Fei Long victory. James was pissed at what happened, while Aaron tried to play it cool. However, this ironically came back to bite Aaron, as due to his calm behavior despite the circumstances, John Hu voted him out over James for being an all-around bigger threat. And to this day, I don't think there's been a bigger swap-screwed player in Survivor history than Aaron.
Aaron, tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
Episode 6 begins with Todd finally finding the idol with the help of Amanda. Unfortunately for the two, their spirits were dropped when they saw their close ally of Aaron had been eliminated. So after Fei Long won reward and chose to kidnap James, they came up with a master plan. Todd gave his idol to James, which would guarantee Fei Long numbers come the merge, as James could simply idol out Jamie if John Hu once again threw the challenge. Seems like the perfect plan, right?
Denise takes a big chunk of feathers.
I just want to swallow it. I can't swallow it.
I got it.
Oh, God. Chew it. That's right, baby.
James puts it all in his mouth. James scores for John Hu. John Hu leads 3-1.
Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. With Sharia and Frosty being on the chopping block for Fei Long, the tribe agreed Frosty would be more loyal come the merge, and voted out Sharia in a 5-2 vote.
Sharia, tribe has spoken.
After Todd told him where he found the idol at Fei Long, James figured it would be at the same place on John Hu, and he was right, meaning that James went from a dead man walking to having 2 idols in his pocket. Jamie then proceeded to find what she thought was John Hu's idol, not realizing it was a fake. The tribes then merged at 10 and enjoyed a merge feast while being entertained by acrobats. However, the immunity challenge would be determined by who could relay the events from that merge, to which Frosty won. With Frosty officially on Fei Long's side, this left Eric, PG, and Jamie in the minority, with Jamie being the target. However, she believed she would be safe due to her idol, and even used it as a bargaining chip. The problem was, everyone on Fei Long knew it was fake. At Tribal Council, for the first time in Survivor history, someone played a fake idol, and now completely vulnerable, the OG Fei Long plus Frosty voted out Jamie in a 7-3 vote to become the first member of the jury.
So I thought it might be immunity.
Thanks. This, however, is not a hidden immunity idol.
Oh my gosh.
Jamie, the tribe has spoken.
The final 9 had a schoolyard pick 4 teams at the reward challenge, with Denise not getting picked, despite being in the majority. The team of Amanda, Todd, John Robert, and James won reward, along with the clue to the idol, which was obviously useless since James had both of them. However, realizing this, Todd wondered if now was the time to turn on James before he became too powerful. At the immunity challenge, Courtney unbelievably won individual immunity. With John Robert suspecting that James had both idols, he also threw out the idea to Fei Long to take out James right now. However, this sketched out Todd, as he realized if JR was ready to flip now, he would more than likely do the same thing to Todd in the future. So Todd instead pulled James into the majority alliance to take out JR. At Tribal, James took a massive risk, holding on to the idol, despite JR and the outsiders of PG and Eric openly gunning for him. But Todd was able to get the majority 5 votes onto a person he thought was a bigger threat to his game, sending JR to the jury in a 5-3-1 vote.
John Robert, tribe has spoken.
After being the only original Fei Long left out of the JR blindside, Denise questioned where she really stood in her alliance. At the reward challenge, the teams were once again split up into 2 teams of 4 by schoolyard pick, with the team of Amanda, Courtney, Eric, and Frosty winning a cruise along the China River. Frustrated at the loss, PG put the blame on James, even furthering herself as the clear target for Fei Long. However, PG was able to clutch up and win a must-have immunity. With their original target off the table, Fei Long had to decide between the final 2 original John Hu members in Eric and Frosty. Despite Frosty voting along with Fei Long the previous 2 rounds, the majority simply saw him as much more threatening than Eric, as he was unanimously voted out.
Frosty, tribe has spoken.
With cheeseburgers still on their breath.
Time for you to go.
Episode 10 was a recap episode, leading us into episode 11, where the final 7 competed in a trivia challenge about the Chinese culture. PG won and brought Eric and Denise with her on reward. The final John Who members tried their best to convince Denise she was on the bottom of Fei Long. Back at camp, Amanda felt now was the time to finally blindside James with his idols, as it was literally now or never. At the immunity challenge, Eric won, which fully put the James blindside plan into action, as Amanda got the entire tribe on board to go after James. This put Eric and PG into quite an interesting position, as they could have told James to play one of his idols, and they could have idled out Todd, which in retrospect, I think obviously would have been the better move. But then again, nobody should have to tell James to play one of his idols at this point. I mean, there's literally only 3 rounds left to play them. Surely he'll play one just to be safe, right? Right?
If anyone has a hidden immunity idol, now would be the time to play it.
I'll read the votes. 10th person voted out and the 4th member of our jury. James, that's 4, that's enough. Need to bring me your torch. James, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Episode 12 begins with the final 6 being surprised by their loved ones and competed in a challenge to spend the day with them on a boat while enjoying a feast. Denise and her husband won, and to the disappointment of Eric and PG, she brought along Todd and Amanda and their loved ones on reward, all but confirming to the two that Denise was going to stick by Fei Long, despite being number 4 in the alliance. So knowing they had no choice but to win immunity, PG came up clutch once again. This however sealed Eric's fate, as he was sent to the jury in a 4-2 vote.
Eric, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
The final 5 competed for one of the better rewards in Survivor history, with that being a trip to the Great Wall of China. Denise won her 2nd reward challenge in a row, and chose Todd and Courtney to join her for this once-in-a-lifetime experience. With Amanda and PG obviously being disappointed, they talked game, and agreed that Todd was a massive threat. And when the others returned, PG once again tried to get Denise to flip to her and Amanda's side, as voting out Todd would not only take out a big-time player, but it would also send her from the bottom to the top. Amanda would end up winning immunity, putting her in an even more powerful position. But in the end, Fei Long simply couldn't let the underdog PG survive another round, as she was unanimously sent to the jury.
PG, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
The final 4 begin the finale of Survivor China with a puzzle challenge, attempting to replicate the Great Wall of China. Amanda won, and chose Todd to join her for reward, where the two feasted on pizza and brownies, while also confirming they would take each other to the final tribal council. At the immunity challenge, Amanda won her 3rd consecutive challenge in a row to finish the season, guaranteeing herself a spot at the final tribal council. Denise was the obvious outsider, who also had a good story to boot, and even used this as a way to tug at the heartstrings of Amanda and Courtney in an attempt to flip the vote onto Todd. But in the end, it simply wasn't enough, as Lunch Lady Denise came up just short, becoming the final member of the jury.
Denise, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
It's the final tribal council now, arguably the greatest final 3 ever, as each player had a legit shot to win, and their final tribal council performance would most likely determine the outcome. And let's just say, Todd stepped up to the challenge, delivering the performance of his life, and to this day still remains as the best final tribal council performance in Survivor history.
I fought. It's a glorious battle. Art of war, yin and yang. I came out as a fighter. That's just bottom line.
Okay, I'm out of the game, but I wasn't the biggest threat.
You started to strategically place ideas in people's heads, which is what I wanted my job to be. So who then becomes the biggest threat to me? You. What do I have to do? Turn it around on you, who is an extremely great strategic player in your daily life.
Guys, congratulations. Well done.
Due to his dominance throughout the game, combined with this insane performance, the schemish Todd was somehow able to get the 4 votes he needed to win Survivor China, becoming the 15th sole survivor.
I'll read the last vote. Winner of Survivor China.
Thank you guys so much for watching this edition of Survivor in Blank Minutes. If you enjoyed this video, then please be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, as we're officially in the golden era of Survivor seasons, and there's no better time than now to relive these amazing seasons in the coming weeks. With all that said, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.